Okay, so I know this is probably going to be a bit of an innocuous sort of article because there are quite a lot of questions I do have about this and probably not a lot of answers because, well, this is discussing a more recent aspect of Chris's life ever since he got released. Nearly a whole year now he's been free from the Nick as a result of the things that we still don't have concrete proof as to whether or not he did or not, but the evidence is very, very heavy. Not decisive or unanimous, but what can I say? That's not really for me to decide. That's up to the courts to decide. So, if you want me to have a concise opinion, my opinion is that the evidence is very what it is. But then again, whatever. Let's get straight to it. So, for those who don't know, this is Flutter. And yes, I do agree Flutter looks like a child, but let's look past that because apparently Flutter was born in either 1992 or 1993. So that would make her 31 or 32 years old. So, never mind the fact that she looks half the age. She looks about 8. But what do I know? That's my lookout anyway. So that's how that is. Flutter is the nickname Chris gave to a female friend of his. Flutter reached out to Chris at some point during his time in Central Virginia Regional Jail, sometime after Chris was released in March 2023. He met up with her in the city of Lynchburg, Virginia, and they began hanging out together. Chris refers to her simply as a friend, suggesting that their relationship is not romantic, although he does not explicitly deny having romantic feelings for her either. Chris also claims that she is 30 years old as of the 17th of October 2023, despite her childlike appearance. I'm glad the wiki backed me up on this as well. The nickname Flutter comes from her fondness of the My Little Pony character Fluttershy. Yeah, I probably should have seen that coming as well. After Chris's release from jail, he was frequently photographed by people who managed to spot him in public. In September 2023, he was spotted with Flutter for the first time. This ultimately led to Christorians to begin theorizing about her, with some thinking that she was a child due to her appearance, others thinking she was a social worker or possibly someone with a mental handicap similar to Chris's own. Who was that one IRL Twitch streamer who looked extremely young but was in their early 40s as of even the recording of this video? I can't quite remember, but it was that one time when this known offender who looked like Gene Wilder decided to sit with him. I'll have to... It's been racking my brain to remember, but there you are. Or even a recruit by Prater. On the 17th, she was spotted allegedly making out with Chris at CVS, causing many to believe she was his girlfriend. But of course, with no evidence to prove or deny this, is there a photograph? Allegedly as well. That's the thing as well. So, we'll probably have to post jail sightings. Okay, so if we is this let's see. Okay, so this I don't. Is Chris making out with Flutter? I think it looks more like Chris trying to. I can't tell if this is meant to be Flutter or not. That's the only problem. The kid. I mean, this is obviously Chris, yes. So I don't really know. But then there's also again, I can't tell. The picture's not the greatest of quality, so there we are. Otaku King, which we'll do an article about him as well, has also claimed that the two of them were a couple. In setting the record straight, there was never any sex involving me in 2021. However, Chris simply refers to her as a friend. Some observers have speculated that Flutter may be Finnish or of Finnish descent. noting that Chris began studying Finnish intensely on Duolingo in October 2023 for no apparent reason. However, a Reddit user who met Flutter claims that she did not have an accent. Interesting. Sightings. You know exactly as well when, like the meta for a lot of Chris's material outside of jail has been it's like observing some wild mythical creature in the wild. Again, redundancy and all that. On the 4th of September 2023, Chris was spotted talking with Flutter at a Coinster machine at Food Lion supermarket. This was the first time she was sighted, then earned her the nickname Food Lion Lady. On the 9th of September 2023, a ween stalked Chris in his car. Reportedly, Flutter was in the car with Chris, and the ween remarked that she looked like a child. On the 16th of September, she was spotted with Chris at Walmart. This was their first clear view of her face. On the 17th, the very next day, Chris was sighted allegedly hugging, touching, and kissing Flutter at CVS. She does not reciprocate them, however. On the 20th, the site posted 2 incredibly blurry pictures of Chris hugging and kissing her. While Chris is easy to see, Flutter is incredibly hard to see. The site also made multiple comments about her. Chris was all over that woman, just kept touching her and her hand on her back almost the whole time. She doesn't look young. She 100% looked uncomfortable. She looked uncomfortable and kept her head down mostly. I can't say whether she was just uncomfortable if she was low functioning. Seemed like he was kind of leading the shopping trip. He was also very close to her at all times. Co-worker asked if they needed help. Chris made sure to step away, that he was between my co-worker and the girl. She paid. These comments have yet to be confirmed as fact, so make sure to take those with a grain of salt. On the 19th, Chris supposedly walked into a game store with her. On the 1st of October... Oh god, it's going to be Sonic Booms all over again, isn't it? On the 1st of October 2023, Chris was spotted showing something on her device to her at River Ridge Mall. This was the clearest view of her face yet. On the 3rd of October, Flutter was seen waiting in a car while Chris was shopping at Game Junkies. On the 20th of December 2023, around 7:30 p.m, a video of her was taken at the Richmond International Airport. Her origin flight was from the Charlotte Douglas International Airport, but the starting destination is unknown. Later that day, she was also spotted at a Sheetz in Henrico, Virginia, and afterwards driven away by Chris. On the 21st of December 2023, Flutter and Chris were spotted at Isabella's Italian Trattoria restaurant in Lynchburg. Reddit user Jackson Starship speculated that Flutter paid for the meal, also noting that Chris ate spaghetti like a toddler. The user also reported that Chris had fed dessert to Flutter. Jackson Starship stated that Flutter did not appear mentally handicapped, nor did she appear an exceptionally young age. On several occasions, she would keep Chris in check, stopping him from escalating situations. They were last seen walking away together in the parking lot. On the 4th of January 2024, Chris and Flutter were photographed at Ultimate Comics in Cary, North Carolina, while picking up tickets for the Animate Raleigh convention. Wait a minute, hang on. Oh yes, I remember, this is when they got kicked out. They were seen in attendance together on the 5th of January, with Flutter wearing a face mask. On the 6th of January, Chris and Flutter were seen outside of the Animate convention, reportedly having been kicked out. I wonder if the people in North Carolina, they caught wind of just what was going on, and, well, more specifically in Cary or even at the convention, they just decided, no, absolutely no way. On the 23rd of March 2020, North Carolina, how far did Chris travel? Or rather, well, I suppose, like, if the speculation that Chris is now living in Lynchburg is Lynchburg any closer to North Carolina than Charlottesville or Ruckersville? Probably. On the 23rd of March 2024, Chris was spotted with Flutter at TJ Maxx in Lynchburg, Virginia. disproving rumours about her staying away from him due to the aftermath of Animate Raleigh. Wariness. Since late December 2023, when Flutter returned to the spotlight, many people have joked about the inability of Weens to take a good photo of her. The first strong signals of this came to light on the 20th of December, where she was noted by an observer to wear a face mask in public. Yes, I was on her flight. I noticed her almost immediately, but she wore a mask the whole time. It was subconscious, so I didn't think much of it other than, she looks familiar. But while she was leaving the airport, Chris was waiting for her. He embraced her and said her name out loud. I was on the phone and couldn't make out what he said. When the said person approached them later, Chris was against to him taking photos of themselves. The same behaviour repeated a day later. As they walked out, Chris commented to a passing family, "A family night, that's nice," or something like that, and Egg had to pull him through the door. I asked Chris for a photo as he was walking out and he got pissed, but I still shook Chris's hand. Wish I'd gotten better photos, but it was kind of a formal dinner. He has also stated Flutter didn't seem to be mentally handicapped and took her on a near motherly role during the visit. Egg didn't say a word to me. I passed their table at 2 points. She wasn't noticeably mentally handicapped and seemed to be keeping Chris in check to some degree. During Animate Raleigh, Flutter was seen with all of her face covered by a face mask, sunglasses, and her hair. Observers also noted her obsessive self-awareness at the event. I'll be covering that in a bit more detail in a few moments. I am legit annoyed that you people cannot be bothered to get one clear photo or video. How hard can it be? Genuinely, this has been more difficult than you'd imagine. Flutter appears to be quite vigilant and unwilling, obviously, to appear in anything, especially candids. With her proximity to Chris, it is not surprising there is a lack of high-definition photos. I was legitimately right beside them on an escalator yesterday, without realizing, and generally she is so hard to see. She has such self-awareness compared to Chris, it is insane. Like, the contrast could not be, stronger according to them. Also, apparently, I didn't even notice that actually, I know Chris is quite tall, but Flutter is incredibly short. So, that's just about everything we needed to, cover almost immediately. So, I know it may seem as though there wasn't too much to talk about with this, but what I will say, just for the record, is that whatever position Flutter has, whether or not she is a social care worker for Chris, it might be possible, because I've known plenty of people before in my time about the fact that they need social workers with them, as sort of whenever they just go out, or whether they are needed in places where there's lots more people around. Those sorts of things are obvious. What is not obvious, however, is why Chris is allowed to go to certain places completely on his own, unwarranted and unchecked, and sometimes Flutter goes with Chris. I don't know whether it's because Flutter is just one of the only few friends that Chris has left, whether or not Flutter genuinely believes that it's the only way to keep Chris in check, I suppose. I have no idea. It's such a difficult thing to discuss about whether or not Flutter is it's just to make sure Flutter keeps Chris in check, whether or not Flutter was assigned by the courts or by social services to take care of Chris from now on. It's a very confusing situation, and also the fact that it begs the question, why didn't Chris just go to a home or of some description? Because in the time that Chris has been released from jail, he's already managed to get himself barred from one convention in North Carolina, and if some reports are going, Flutter says that again, Chris eats spaghetti like a toddler. So I mean, we know fine well that Chris's ability to actually pertain dignity or try to be normal outside is like a very difficult business in itself. But I'm also kind of like suspecting in the back of my mind a little bit about, well, then what is really going on? I think that's the question I want to know, is that what is the deal behind all this, or whether or not this is just something that Flutter decided to do completely of her own volition, despite all evidence to the contrary saying that this is probably a very bad idea. I don't wish any ill feelings at all towards Flutter. I just hope that she knows what she's doing, because with a lot of things that Chris does, it won't take very long before things start spiraling out of control because of things that Chris does. But considering they've gone on for as long as they have, it's actually a little bit impressive. Now, again, I have absolutely no idea if Chris is now living in Lynchburg. That was just a speculation. But I hope to God that this does not end like I think it's going to end. I think it's going to end with Chris doing something stupid, Flutter saying that was more than enough, and, well, constantly trying to be photographed and people trying to speculate on just what she's trying to get out of this. It might become a little bit too much for her as well, and Chris might just go ahead and blame the trolls for this again. So, I don't know, but I reckon that this sort of discussion is a little bit far from over. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this article, and I cannot wait to see you guys again in the next video. Take care, and bye-bye for now.